this by waving your hands, the pain magically went away. I really didn't understand what it was when she was first teaching me this. So after the 2 years that I did have time to spend with her, she passed away. I wanted to continue my learning. So I looked into Reiki, because that's the first thing that came to my mind when I thought of energy healing. And that's where my Reiki learning began. And I took many courses. I started with the Usui Reiki, and then I finished the Usui Reiki when I took the Holy Fire 2 Master Teacher level. And then once I finished that, I was thinking, well, what else is there? Because I still don't feel like I've learned enough. So I got into Reiki 2-mo, and I took all of the levels up to the Reiki Master Practitioner. In that, you learn so many different things. You learn about the Kundalini energy. You learn about meditation. You learn about healing your chakras and healing your physical body. And it was a wonderful experience to learn all of that. Sorry, I take a breath.
Sure, yeah.
So there was so much information that I learned there, and I'm very grateful to have learned all that, because that's the foundation, and I only have up to go from there. There's so much more to learn. And in writing the book or preparing for the book, I realized just how much there is out there. So my learning journey is going to be ongoing for a very long time.
Well, that's wonderful. Yes. And you know what? I'm so grateful for everybody who's just joining us now. Just to recap, we're talking to author Lynn Baillie from Breaking Out of the Darkness, her brand new book that we are interviewing her for. And she's just telling us about, her studies and why she decided to write the book. So let's talk about why you decided to write the book. And it seems like this moment in time is kind of perfect as people are getting more information about energy healing. Would you say that that's kind of perfect timing?
It really is part of it. And more people are becoming, they're finding that this energy healing is more acceptable. It used to be considered woo-woo and magic and not to be taken seriously, and now that more people are having an open mind and they're actually considering it to be a method that actually can be used, it's just become more acceptable, and I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, it's more acceptable and people are more open to it. So that's why writing this book for me seemed logical, because now that people are more open to it, I can have this book out there. I can explain how it all works, and I can, give sample meditations and learning healing experiences in the book, and people will be open to it. Now, what brought me to actually decide to write this book was near the end of my learning journey, where I was paying for courses. It just became too expensive, and COVID hit, and we went from going to my master teacher's home and having to go online. And in some of those courses you took, at the time they were being offered from that country. So with them coming from another country, my classes were from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Wow.
And for me, that just, yes, the other side of the world. So there were 26 countries, 7 different languages, all being translated simultaneously. It was an incredible event learning those courses, and having 950 people online with you, all taking these energy healing courses. The healing you feel afterwards is phenomenal. I had a what do you call it, carpal tunnel in my right wrist, and I didn't notice until a week later that it was gone.
Wow.
After that one weekend taking the courses. So as wonderful as that was, it just wasn't manageable for me. And I had the dreams at the same time saying people need to be happier. What was the other thing? It was very, very important. Yes. Okay. So I wanted to continue taking those online courses because I had to take the courses in order to get my chakras open. And I had already 2 of my outer body chakras open, actually 3. Xing Qi. So you have the 7 chakras in your body, and then the main ones, and then you have 8 to 12 outside. And I had up to chakra 10 opened, and I wanted to get the other 2 opened. And the only way I could was to take the courses online. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that I couldn't just go to the master teacher and say, you know, could we just have an attunement? So that bothered me. And having these dreams where I'm being guided to do something to help people be happy, to change the vibration of the world, I thought of the idea of writing the book. There was something else very significant. One day, I decided to do the meditation after I was getting this pushback for the opening the chakras. And this meditation was nothing like I've ever had before. I just sat in the meditation and I was asking if I could have those 2 chakras open. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I felt this incredible energy flowing down through my crown chakra, and it practically pushed me into my chair. It's how it felt. It was just so powerful. And it went on for 5 or 10 minutes. And finally it subsided. And when I came out of that, I felt like a whole different person. I had an incredible recollection. My memory was so much better. I was experiencing things with less emotion. So I wasn't attached to the emotion, to the experiences. And I felt whole. Before with all the traumas I had in my past, I was feeling kind of shattered and not really together. I don't know how to describe it when you feel like you're missing a bunch of your body or your person. But after that one meditation, I felt completely whole. Like my soul was just healed. And that experience alone was, I would say, 90% of the reason why I decided to write the book.
Wow.
I figured if
that's phenomenal.
I can do that and share it with people and let them know that it's possible. That just, this in meditation, if you're guided properly, if you know the tools, that you can actually heal yourself.
And you know what?
What?
Sorry to interrupt you. I apologize. You can absolutely finish your thought, Lynn. I didn't mean to interject there.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's just that now that I have the tools and the experiences, I can share that with everybody. Because honestly, I believe that we are meant to know that we can heal ourselves. And it's been kept from us. And I'm just kind of putting my foot down and saying, you know what, it's time. People are open to it. People know it's existing. So I'm just going to give it a little push and give some steps and examples of how to heal yourself.
Absolutely. And I want to say that Lynn's book is available, Breaking Out of the Darkness, at pandamoniumpublishing.com/shop. And also, I actually got to work really closely with Lynn on this book, consulting and things like that. And just kind of, helping to kind of format it and put it together, so to speak. But this book really impacted me in terms of how much I didn't know, and I didn't know what the name for it was. I had read little snippets of it here and there in the media, things like that. Things were becoming more mainstream. I knew that we had this kind of innate ability to heal ourselves because you read stories like that all the time. And when I had the opportunity to kind of even read and, do some editing on this book, it was amazing how many things started to make sense. And can you kind of explain what energy healing is, summarized in a couple of sentences, if that's possible?
That is a really tough question to answer, so I'm going to, like, in as few words as possible, but I'll do my best. I think I came up with a really good explanation of it. So energy healing is when you use the surrounding energy and the energy in yourself, combined with your awareness and loving intention, and you apply that to yourself and others. When you're able to access this energy and focus it on yourself and others, you can actually affect change. You can right down to the DNA.
Wow.
So depending on how clear you are from negative energy, you'll be stronger. So if you're at the master level, where you have no negative energy, then your healing power is phenomenal. But if you're like me, I still have a little baggage, so my healing power is just relative to that. I try and stay as clear and as open and as loving as possible when I do my healing. And I do have good feedback from people that I've worked on. And for myself personally, I've actually helped myself with some of my physical illnesses and emotional illnesses, applying this to myself.
Wow, that is phenomenal. Yeah. And I know you talk about that in your book, Breaking Out of the Darkness. And, you know, this was something that there is a lot of science behind this now. You know, before, like you said at the beginning, it was kind of one of those things where it was like, oh, you know, is this real? Is there any scientific proof behind this? And now the science is emerging. We are definitely experiencing the laws of the universe that you talk about, the quantum fabric, that we are all connected, all of these things. So can you shed some light on brainwave states and possibly some of the science that's emerging in the field of energy healing and even kind of this quantum physics discussion?
Okay.
Where do we start?
So the brainwave states, this isn't my specialty. We did put it in the book because it does help understand what's going on in your brain. What wavelength is there when you're conducting a healing. Basically, there are more than 5 brainwave states, but I'll just talk about the 5 just to show that there are different states for different things. So the beta brainwave state is just basically you being awake and aware. Alpha is the brainwave state what you're in when you feel calmness. It's when you just feel generally relaxed, you're in the alpha brainwave state. The alpha brainwave state is also acts like a bridge between the theta brainwave state where you're awake to the theta brainwave state where you are actually susceptible to suggestion. So the theta brainwave state is what the hypnotist uses to help change you while you're in that state. Then you have the delta brainwave state, but that's when you're asleep and it regulates your digestion and your cardiovascular system. And then the other brainwave state that I'm sort of familiar with is gamma. Mm-hmm. Actually, gamma brainwave state is related to cognitive function. So processing complicated tasks, your memory, your learning, that kind of stuff. But also the gamma state, they say, you are in when you're meditating and you're at that really great moment in your meditation where you just feel connected to everything. So those are the 5 brainwave states that we talk about in the book, but the one that's actually most important for the book is the theta brainwave state, and that it's related to so that you're susceptible to suggestion during the theta brainwave state. So when I practice Reiki, I have the best effect on someone or myself when I'm in that theta brainwave state. So it's just a beautiful state to be in, and when you get into that state and you realize it, it just feels so beautiful. It's just a very loving state to be in. And
how does someone get into that state? Is it through meditation, or is it through a number of different ways? Okay.
Well, it can be through meditation. So when you meditate, you can get into theta and gamma. It's just different levels of your vibration in that moment. For me, to get into the theta brainwave state, it's something I learned in Reiki Tumo. And it's just a state of mind that you actually, you use your imagination. So for Reiki Tumo, one of the courses was Secrets of Natural Healing. And this is it's a meditative way of healing. So it's for self-healing. And the phrasing is, true source is, it's the same as saying God. So in Reiki Tumo, they say true source. So they say, let true source is love bring you into true source is love, completely and continuously. So basically what you're doing in your mind is placing you're in your awareness of your mind. You're not really in your physical body anymore. So you're taking your awareness and putting it up at that higher divine level. And your awareness knows that you're in that love, right? But you also know that in your heart, that love is in you.
Okay.
So you become entangled in that love, which puts you in that theta brainwave state.
Okay.
It's really beautiful.
That does sound beautiful.
You feel different, because remember when I mentioned I felt the pressure into the chair?
Yes.
When that energy came in. When you do that process of getting yourself into the love completely and continuously, you actually feel like you're sinking into your chair.
Oh, wow.
You feel the energy just coming into you. So it's a really amazing experience, and it's very hard to describe.
Until it happens to you, right? Until you get into that state yourself. Yeah. So can we talk a little bit about some of the science that's emerging in the field?
Okay, well, the science has been there for a while. It's just people are more accepting of it. So it's not anything new. There's one of my favorite studies was done by Dr. Glenn Ryan. He's a PhD and he has a quantum biological research labs. And in this study, he took some petri dishes, and in those petri dishes, he put cancer cells. And for the sake of time, I won't describe the entire experiment. I'll just basically sum it up. So what happened was he had this healer, and the healer had 5 different intentions that he sent to the petri dishes. There were 6 petri dishes. One of the intentions was to return the cells to their natural order. So that means to actually heal the cancer cells. And not only did he use that intention, but he felt unconditional love while he was intending that natural order to the cells. And the results were amazing. They showed that just sending the unconditional love was a 20% healing to the cancer, and just sending the intention was a 20% healing to the cancer cells. But put those both together, and it was a 40% healing to the petri dish with the cancer cells.
Wow.
Right?
That is phenomenal.
Is just phenomenal.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the other intentions, some of them had a less effect, some had no effect at all. But the reverse is true. So he sent the intention for the cancer cells to grow. and they grew 15%.
Wow.
Yeah. So what you send out, you send love and good intentions, you have a positive effect. You also have the ability to cause harm. So we have to be very responsible with how we use this power.
Absolutely. And I think it's really fascinating how, you know, a lot of people have to overcome that negative inner voice that they have in their head. And when they are dealing with a lot of sickness, it's really easy to kind of get wrapped up into the bad feelings and the worry and the stress and all of those things. So that is really, really fascinating. And thank you so much for sharing that information with us, because, you know, it's a saying that it's like, everything begins and ends in the mind, right? And we talk about all of these things within your book. And I just want to take a second to talk about Lynn's book here and all of the amazing features that it has. It's got dream journal pages. It's got daily gratitude pages where you can write down the things that you're grateful for, the things that you've dreamt about, you know, dreams and kind of interpreting them. It's got information about the laws of the universe. It has the science in there that we've just talked about, the different brainwave states, and then a lot of kind of personal stories about your own healing journey. And can you just explain how writing this book has helped you along your own healing journey?
It actually helped me a great deal. Before, you know, in the 6 years of learning the Reiki classes, every time you do a Reiki class, you do a self-healing and you do the group healings with the people in the classes. And I thought I was doing a really good job with that. And then I found this one meditation that I was using. It's an open heart meditation. And I thought that was helping me a lot with my healing journey. And it wasn't until this book came around that I realized just how much work there was to do. So in preparation for writing the book, I wrote down all of the things that I could remember that were past traumas, things that were hurting me as a child, and even right up to my adulthood. Like, things were still going on. I was still in these cycles of things happening to me. Getting this all down on paper got me to a point where I was able to take each thing and sit on it and meditate, feel the hurt, and forgive, love, and let go. And that whole healing process that we write about in the book is I applied it to myself. Even more than I had been doing before. So it actually helped me a great deal. And the funny thing is, in the whole healing process, and even with everything I wrote, I still didn't get everything, because every once in a while I'll be driving, I'll be brushing my teeth, I'll just be doing something, and randomly a memory pops into my head of something that needs working on, and it's something that I left out from before. So I think the more that I heal, my higher self is saying, hey, you know, you're not done yet. Here's something else, you know, keep going. You're doing a great job. And I can't be more grateful for writing this book for my own personal healing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, along with everything that it's going to do to kind of allow people to explore themselves and their own healing journey, and, you know, the levels at which they're kind of living their lives, would you say? So I think that we kind of get in this, stuck in this cycle of, you know, the media, the news, all of these things happening around the world that we really kind of let infiltrate us and our minds, and even subconsciously, maybe we don't realize it, but we start going down this rabbit hole of information, and then, you know, we're kind of not feeling so good about ourselves or about what's going on in the world. And that is what I want to talk about next. We're talking about vibrations, okay? So you've mentioned this in your book before, and the different states of vibrations, and you have a chapter on this, which is fascinating. I learned so much that I didn't know about this. Can you explain what vibrations are and kind of how they work in a way that we're going to understand?
Okay. Give that a go. So, this is just what I think vibrations are. I mean, I do have a bit of a math and science background, so I can graph a vibration, I can describe to you what it is, but it's not useful information. So basically what I think vibrations are how we feel energy. It gives the energy meaning. For example, cell phones. So, if you don't want to hear your phone ring, you put it on vibrate. And when your phone vibrates, it's telling you that vibration is a message saying your phone's ringing. So, I mean, that's how I can explain what a vibration is in a physical sense. So, energy, emotions are also energy. And energy is a vibration. So, what I'm finding with the world today, and it's very sad for me because I'm an empath, so I feel the energy that's around me. So I don't like going out because everybody's vibrating so low. They're so, the depression is real. COVID's made it even worse. And so it's very difficult for me to go out and be around people because I feel their feelings. And so that's another reason why I wanted to write the book, is to help those people find their joy and get their vibration up. But getting back to the emotions, there are some emotions that are a low vibration and some that are a high vibration. And the low vibrations are the ones that we need to work on. The biggest one is fear. Fear is the worst vibration you can have. It's very destructive for yourself. Judgment, when you judge others, that's also another very bad energy. Guilt, jealousy, hate, blaming others, these vibrations are very, very low. And when you hold these vibrations in you, it is just so self-destructive. Not only do you feel the physical pains of those emotions, they manifest into illness, you actually attract that energy. So because, this is the law of attraction, right? So when you're vibrating at that low energy, that's the energy you are going to bring into your world.
Can I just pause you for 1 second, Lynn?
Yeah.
I can totally relate to this. How many people watching have ever caught their bathrobe on the bathroom door when they've been in a good mood? It's never happened. It's only when you're really upset, really angry, right? Or you stub your toe after that, or whatever it is. It all starts with that kind of how you're feeling. And as soon as you're feeling angry or you wake up grumpy or all of these things, your day just snowballs. You never catch your robe on the bathroom door if you're in a good mood. Trust me. I know from experience. Okay. And raising your vibration is something. Okay. Can you give us one little tip to kind of change our vibration if we're feeling low?
When you're feeling low, the best thing you can do is just look for things that make you happy. So, for example, it's raining outside. I can't go outside. Well, I mean, I can be inside and sit down with my daughter and have a conversation and have quality time with her.
Right.
So there's always something good that is right in front of you. You just have to be open to seeing it. It's where that silver linings comes from, right? So you just have to be open to seeing the good in things. The other thing that's very good at helping you get out of negative cycles is gratitude. So there are many things that you can be grateful for. And when you focus on being grateful for things, everything else just falls away. You know, if you sit in gratitude, the dark stuff is just gone. You know,
Yes.
no longer a worry for you.
Definitely.
So that's the best way to get out of a negative cycle.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we're not done with Lynn yet. Don't worry. We're not done with Lynn interviewing her, but I'm going to take a second to talk about her book, Breaking Out of the Darkness, available at pandamoniumpublishing.com/shop. You can always find it on our book listing on the menu as well. And it has a phenomenal color. It has the chakras on it. It's got kind of this being coming forward with all of the broken glass and shards of glass that have different words on them that carry a lot of weight, like jealousy, anger, greed, all of that. And it's a phenomenal book in so many ways because it actually lets you take a look at yourself and decide kind of, you know what? This is how I'm vibrating right now. How can I change this? This is how I'm feeling. How can I kind of switch that so I'm feeling a little bit better and I'm more like myself, more happy, more things to be grateful for. And there are so many resources in this book. Not only do we see all of your education and all of the courses that you've taken, but there are so many bonus features in here, such as, you know, recommended reading and the books that you have read and enjoyed to help you along your journey, as well as all of those pages in there that allow people to kind of take their own notes and things like that. So I certainly hope that you will check it out. This book is life-changing, and I really feel that it's beneficial to everyone in a different way because it's very, very personalized. And everybody goes through their own healing journey, and it's just what you take out of it. You know, you have people who see the same movie or read the same book, and they get a completely different feeling from it or a completely different opinion. And what you're going to get from Lynn's book is very, very personal. So I hope that you'll check it out, pandamoniumpublishing.com/shop, and it's called Breaking Out of the Darkness. So, what does your own routine look like in terms of your healing journey? Do you meditate? Do you have things that you do in order to kind of center yourself to get ready for your day? Can you talk about that?
I can, but can I share? There was
Yes.
something I wanted to share.
Of course.
There, just as a visual on how low and high vibrations or, you know, your emotions actually can impact your outside world. There was an experiment conducted by Dr. Masaru Emoto. He took jars of water and he labeled them love, hate, jealousy, and then he actually applied those emotions on that water. And I don't know how he did it. I forget. But all I know is that energy, the energy of love was put in the water. The energy of hate was put in the water. And then he froze them. After they were fully frozen, he would take them and put them under a microscope. The crystalline structure of the ice that had love directed at it was beautiful, harmonious structure. And then he took the crystallized, the resulting ice from the hate jar, and it was misshapen. There was no harmony at all. It was just a horrible configuration once it was frozen. So this is a physical representation of how your emotions impact your outside.
So a physical representation.
Really profound.
So this was.
And I wanted to share that.
I just want to recap this for my own kind of understanding. So there were jars of water, and they were labeled love, hate, jealousy, a bunch of different words. And the energy that he put into those changed the structure, and he was able to see that after it was frozen. Wow. That's amazing. And you know what? I feel like that's something that when I was a kid, my Nana would be like, you know, I talked to my houseplant. I've named him, I forget what his name was, Roger, Robert or something. Excuse me. And he would grow massively. You know, she would talk to him, she would water him, she would give him tea, all of these special things, and he just flourished. I absolutely believe in that, because not only the way that we speak to others, but the way that we speak to ourselves impacts our entire world collectively, and we kind of get what we focus on. Is there kind of, I know this question might be kind of off the cuff, but I want to ask this. Do we kind of see that when we focus on something with so much energy that it kind of goes the opposite way? And I'm not getting political, but what I'm thinking is, you know, when you see people being elected and there's so many people who are like, I don't want this person in office, and then they get elected, and it's because all of that energy was concentrated on what they don't want?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
they were saying what they wanted, but they had the fear of what they didn't want, and the fear won out in that. So whenever there's any doubt, it works out the other way. So you seem to be saying, yeah, I want so-and-so to win, but you're more afraid that they're not going to win, and then that's what happens. The dominant energy always wins.
So it's like, I don't want to be late. I don't want to, you know, screw up this job interview. I don't want, we should be focusing more on what we do want. Is that kind of what the message is?
Exactly. Because you're setting, when you say, I don't want to do this, you're focusing on that actually happening. Rather, you should say, I'm going to land this interview. I'm going to land this job. I'm going to have this positive outcome. You focus on the positive outcome, not on the outcome that you don't want. You focus on what you do want. So that actually really matters, because that's the energy you're putting out there. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Mm-hmm. Now, everybody, how much power is there when people start to believe and put their energy into what they want as a group? Can we talk about that? I don't want to totally get into collective. Yeah, collective consciousness, but what can that change for the world and for the planet?
Okay, so there was this, I'm trying to think, there was a lake. I don't know where it was in the world, but it was very, very polluted. And I think there were about 7,000 some odd energy healers that got together, and just their focused intention on healing the lake was enough. When they were finished, the lake was no longer contaminated. The water was actually clean.
Wow. So that is the power.
I really should get my details on that, but that's a very big event.
Yeah.
And it did happen, and but it wasn't accepted by a lot of the world. It happened quite a while ago, and because this energy healing wasn't considered anything, to be taken seriously, that never really made it in the news.
Right.
So yeah, I'm hoping that now that it's become more acceptable, that it'll actually get more attention.
Definitely. Wow, that is absolutely fascinating. Yeah, definitely. Yes.
And like that, when I was taking that course, the 950 people, I was able to heal my carpal tunnel in my right wrist.
Wow.
Just in two nights of the 950 people being together, meditating on healing.
Wow.
Right? It was an amazing experience.
That does absolutely sound just phenomenal, in terms of, we know that there's this energy. We know there's something bigger than us. We know that we're all connected, and we know that the universe is the original source, or God, or whatever you want to call it. But there's something so much bigger than us. And do you feel like there's certain times in your life, kind of like when you stand in the ocean or you stand on the beach and you're like, wow, I feel so small. I feel like just a little part of this universe, but all of that power is in us. So what do you want your readers to kind of take away from this book? As a general overview, I know it's very personal and each person is going to have a completely different journey, but what is your hope for this book?
My hope for this book is that people will discover just how powerful they really are, that we do have the ability to heal ourselves and others, that just taking the time and going inward and following, the steps in the book, that you can get rid of a lot of that negative energy, and you'll be able to break out of the negative cycles that you're in. Like, it could be bad relationships, like bad jobs, just bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
And in your own personal healing, you'll be able to break out of all of that stuff and find peace, where you were, unrested, and you be joyful, happy. You'll find love, proper love. There's, different perceptions of love, but unconditional love is the one you're going for. And ultimately, you will have an abundant life. It will just be completely transformed. And I'm positive that this book can help people find that.
Absolutely. And, I think the most wonderful thing about this book is that not only was it a cathartic experience for you to write it all down and get it on paper, but just the pureness of your wanting to honestly help people on their own journeys. And it's very, very authentic. It is very, it's one of those things where until you read the book, you don't understand how much of the author's self has gone into it. And we can never write anything without leaving a piece of ourself behind. So all of your wonderful energy and intention and vibration went into this book. And you can see it from the very first page. We have Lynn's story at the beginning, and then we go into different parts in the chapters where it talks about various things, and it kind of guides you and allows you to interpret things in the way that you will, so that your own journey can be started, it can be continued, because sometimes a lot of people lose focus on where they are in their life, and they're kind of in this rat race of, we have to make an income, of course, we have to live, we have to pay our bills, we have to do all these things, and they really don't take time out to kind of help themselves heal, not only from past traumas, because that does come up in the book, but also to explore further what this all means and kind of what we're doing here and how much power we have. So I really think that it is phenomenally done. This book has been an absolute pleasure. And every time I read it, I get something else out of it. And does that depend on kind of where you are in your life, Lynn? Depend on what's going on around you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, so yes, your experiences, everything that's going on around you can distract you from finding your peace. And so it's just, I was just thinking of something while you were
rambling
about the takeaway from the book. Yeah, I know. No, you weren't. The takeaway from the book, and I missed something. A very important thing that I think people, one step to take that I think will help people is, rather than saying to yourself, why is this happening to me? You should say, what am I learning from that? So turn it around and don't feel like the victim, feel like a student. And you're the student on your own learning journey. Your soul is evolving and you're learning. So all of these things that are happening to you are just the experiences that you're meant to come up against in your evolution. So I believe that you're being challenged. You're being put into these negative situations just so that you can learn to rise above them. Instead of being trapped as the victim, become the student and see what every situation has to offer, and grow from it. Don't let it put you down. Let it lift you up. Every experience has the ability to lift you up, no matter how dark it is. Mm-hmm. If you can rise above any experience, then you're doing the right thing.
Sorry, Lynn. Just 1 second. I just have to clear my throat for a sec. We've been talking a lot, even though I haven't really been talking.
Yeah.
It's really just one of those things.
Oh,
Sorry, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at pandamoniumpublishing.com. And we are so excited to have Lynn join us from her wonderful book, Breaking Out of the Darkness. And we're just so thrilled to talk to her about all of the things that she's done and put into this book. And where do we find your website, Lynn? What is your website, and what can we kind of expect to find there?
okay. My website is www.lynntheta.ca. And on there, it has a bit about me, and I have the details of the book on there. I chose to have links to Amazon and Pandamonium Publishing to sell the book. So if you're interested in buying the book, you just click on the link, and it takes you right there, and you're on your way.
Awesome.
I do have other things on the website related to the energy healing, so they're still under construction, but I am getting to that. But the most important part of it right now is about the book, so the information about the book is there.
And your social media links are there as well, correct? So we can all follow you on social media? Okay, awesome. And that would be Instagram and a Facebook page?
Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
The LinkedIn one doesn't show on the page, but it is connected to LinkedIn somehow.
Okay. All right. Awesome. And I just really think that it's important that people know that this book was a very thorough process in terms of going through and talking about, what do you think people can learn from this? How can you explain this in such a way that people are going to understand and be able to take something from it? So would you say that your book is kind of an introductory way for a person who is interested in energy healing to start this and to kind of look at, kind of where to begin? Because I think some people are kind of intimidated with a lot of books that are out there because there's so many things that are not understood, in terms of energy healing and going through the process. Even meditation for some people is very difficult to wrap their heads around because they can't kind of quiet their mind. In your opinion, is there something that we can do to kind of help our viewers right now quiet their minds? Do you have a technique, or do you start small and then build up? How does that work?
Well, it's a two-step process for me. So first I have to clear my mind before I can quiet my mind. And it's all a visual technique in your mind. So you sit in meditation, you close your eyes, and you bring your awareness to your headspace, because that's where all the clutter is. We are the only person who should be in our headspace, nothing else. So the technique that I use to clear my headspace, it's kind of funny. When you bowl and that thing comes down and clears the pins away, that I clear my headspace with that. I just clear out everything and let it fall to the earth to be grounded. And then for the noise, I actually pull the curtains closed. I block out all the noise with visual curtains. So there I'm sitting in my space that's clear and quiet.
Wow, I love that. That is so cool.
I mean, you use your creativity, right, to find the best way that works for you. And, for my grounding and for clearing out my chakras, I actually have an earth grounding vacuum. So, I mean, I sound like a nutcase.
No.
But it works for me. So this vacuum just takes away all of the negative energy in my imagination. Oops. This vacuum, clears all of the negative energy away. It's amazing. And I just feel so great afterwards. And I mean, it's bizarre, but you use your imagination, you find out what works for you, and you go with it. So that's what happened to me. So
and I have just kind of one more question from our viewers and from some of our emails that have come in. How do you know when, we try to do things so calculated as humans, and, we check them off the list. We have this checklist of things that we've done and we've accomplished and on to the next step and, all of these things. How do we know that we're kind of ready for the next steps in terms of our healing journey? Will you just know it intuitively? Will there be some kind of difference that it's measured by? Or should we not really be worried about measuring the things that we're kind of working toward? Is it a natural kind of organic process?
I think it's more of a natural process than a measured thing. Because in the energy realm, there's no time or distance. You just are. And I think it's something that you feel. If you are working on a trauma, it could take several sittings with yourself to get through it, to go through that process. And you will know when you're finished because you will feel the release. You will be able to talk about that experience without any emotional attachment.
Okay.
And you'll just know you're done. So it's a feeling. You know yourself how you feel, and you'll know if you've released it. So there's nothing to measure. It's just a feeling.
That is a great answer. Thank you for that. And one more question. How much of our dreams reveal where we should go and kind of what direction we should take? Where do the dreams kind of come from in terms of brainwave states? Is it a subconscious thing? Is it more than that? Is it kind of putting together all of the things that happened in your day and your brain trying to work them out? Or are there messages in there?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything. So for me personally, definitely the last thing I watched on television influences my dreams, and I should be very careful what I watch before I go to bed.
Same here.
So I do know when I'm having dreams which ones are meant to have my attentions and which ones are just seem to be like filler.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have a dream sometimes that repeats itself and over and over again from different perspectives, but it always ends up the same way. So that just tells me that, we have the power of choice in how we live our lives, but we ultimately, on our path, end up where we're meant to end up. It could be a long path, it could be a short path, but you always end up getting there. And I've had dreams that showed me that. There are nights where I have dreams that make absolutely no sense, but all of a sudden this image just takes over my dream. And I know that actually means something. So that I write that down in my journal. I've had so many dreams like that. And one of those dreams was the book cover. So that's how the cover of the book actually came about. It was a vision in a dream, I suppose.
Wow.
So, yeah. So I do think some dreams are from your higher self or your guides. And they are trying to show you something or teach you something. Some of the other dreams, I don't know what they are, and I would, it would take forever to write every single dream that I have. I just write down and take notice of the ones that actually stand out and seem a little different.
Right. So we do talk about that in your book, and you talk about lucid dreaming and the different levels of dreams and things like that, and how to know and kind of train yourself to be able to be aware in your dreams, which I thought was really cool. There are so many cool things in that section of the book where I'm just like, okay, I'm going to try this tonight. And then I wake up and I'm like, I don't remember anything, right? So that happens a lot. But I think that it's really interesting how the book was kind of laid out and how everything kind of flows into the next chapter and how it seamlessly works together and allows for a really great experience, not only from a literature perspective where everything kind of goes together and flows, but also from, this is kind of where we're starting. And by the end of the book, you're going to be so interested in all of these areas of education and self-education and exploration that there's no way you can stop. you know. So I just feel like this is one of those books that you have to get your hands on. It's available at pandamoniumpublishing.com/shop. We're going to put the links to Lynn's website at the bottom of this, and we're also going to share her social media. So we hope that you'll go to her page, like it. She has wonderful articles that she shares. She's got great quotes, things like that, and we certainly hope that you have enjoyed her interview this evening. So we were live in conversation with Lynn Baillie, author of Breaking Out of the Darkness, and we certainly hope that you will check out her book because it is phenomenal and life-changing. So thank you so much for being with us today, Lynn, and we're so excited to continue our healing journeys with you.
Well, thank you for having me, Lacey, and thank you for working with me on this because I couldn't have done it without you. Our energies combined is what created this thing and made it as beautiful as it is, and I truly hope that people will use it as a stepping stone for their own learning and have the information in it that helps point them in the right direction if they want to pursue anything on their own in addition to what's in the book. I mean, I've got the self-help section, so it's just going to provide a starting point for them to take on their learning for themselves because each person's journey is different.
Right.
So it'll help get them started.
And
but like I said, thank you because without you, this wouldn't have happened.
My gosh. I was absolutely honored to be able to do this. I'm so grateful too because this was such a new experience for me, and it definitely opened up parts of myself that I was like, wow, I didn't know I wasn't finished with that. So that was a really great experience, and thank you so much for coming to Pandamonium Publishing House today and being interviewed with us. And can readers kind of get a hold of you if they have any questions? There's an email that you have.
Yes, absolutely. It's the same as the website, lynntheta@gmail.com.
Okay.
So LYNNTHETA@gmail.com. It is also on the website.
Okay, wonderful. And we're going to see you at some upcoming events, right? So we're going to see you in Caledonia with your book on the 27th, I believe it is, or the 28th, because there's one in Binbrook, one in Caledonia, and we will post that as well.
Okay, I believe it's the 27th in Caledonia.
Yes.
From 12 till 4.
Yes, and we have that on our
Caledonia Winter Market.
Yes, we will absolutely post the link to that as well. So if you want to go get your book signed by Lynn, I mean, why wouldn't you? Then go and check her out in Caledonia. And I'm very excited that you were able to be here today. So thank you so much for joining us, Lynn. And everybody who watched, thank you for that, and I hope that you will check out her wonderful book and her website and ask her some questions. Send her some emails of everything that you're wondering, and she'll be able to kind of guide you in a direction where you're supposed to go. So thanks again, Lynn.
Thanks, Lacey.
Have a great night. Thanks, everybody.
You too. Have a great evening. Thank you, everyone, for watching.